Hey everyone, welcome back to the Unheralded Dynasty. We are in the preseason of 2030, technically our fourth season with UTSA. We just made the jump over to CFB 26. It only took me about 8 months to figure out how to get my Dynasty onto CFB 26. So again, if EA is listening, I really appreciate it if you made it possible to just transfer Dynasty from the previous game to the new game and make my life a lot easier. And hopefully there's other people out there that would want to continue a dynasty from one year to the next. But we've been over the team, but you have not seen the updated overalls, the attributes. I also changed the numbers, changed the height, the weight. So we got these guys locked in. So here we've got Singett at 88, Shearer 83, Jolly 79, Amerson 72, and Jason Trail at 70. We're not going to go through everybody, but you can just kind of see we got the overalls up. Pretty exciting for me to finally get this onto 26. So scrolling through, you can kind of see again, we have the integrity of these guys. Ron Hilassi, we got him from St. Paul, Minnesota. Nobody else I really paid attention to where their hometown was, except for the Minnesota kids. You know, Busby's from Minneapolis, and then Hilassi's from St. Paul. But you can see Ron has an elite dev trait. I think he was just impact in 25. The dev traits don't match up. I explained in the last episode, I'm just going to be changing the attributes for the guys of this roster, and then the guys we recruit will obviously be a part of the game, and that'll be easier to do. But it is fun to, again, just go through here and see all the guys, their attributes, their archetypes. So that's the roster. It is set to go. We'll probably do like a spring game type thing we did for season 3. But first things first, we're going to dive into custom schedules. I took Baylor off because Baylor is in the same conference as Texas Tech. And then I want to play 2 teams from the same conference. So we added Tennessee, and I think they're at like a 90 overall, so that'd be a good challenge for us. But the schedule is set. Okay, before we add any recruits, I just want to go over the needs that I see that we have. I think we have 83 guys on the roster. As we go through, again, I'm shifting more towards a running quarterback. Single finished out this year. We got Shearer as a dual threat, so we have the option to run there, which means I don't think Alex Jolly is going to be a fit. And so he'll probably be done after this year. Amerson will stay. Trail will stay. And so Shearer and Jolly will both be gone. We need another quarterback in, so I think that's our first need. Running back, I think we're solid. We got Javier Little could go in the draft. He's right at 90. They don't always leave when they're 90, but there's probably a pretty good chance he leaves, depending on the year he has. We've got 3 redshirt sophomores. One of these guys might leave just due to playing time. I don't know how realistic it is to keep 3 guys in the same class on the roster. And then we got Ivory coming in. Oh, Ivory's an interesting story. So when I was adding his attributes in from 25, right, I just took them right from 25 and copied them all in. He came out to a 77 overall East-West playmaker. And so in 25, I think he was 71 overall. So I just because I copied the numbers exactly, I'm just going to keep him at a 77. And he'll be quite a gem for us, I think, if we keep him. Brand exposure's got to be a B+. We'll see how long he stays. So running back-wise, we may lose Little and one of these guys, but I think we're set. And I don't feel the need to go after a running back this year. That could change as the season goes, and I kind of evaluate a little bit differently. I always get different ideas as the season goes. But as of now, not targeting a running back. Transfer portal could change that as well. We'll kind of see how it goes. Fullback, we're good. Although you can see Kurt Peterson doesn't like our playing style. That's mostly due to just simulating games. I think he'll be pleased with how we operate on offense and run the ball. Receiver, we have a ton here. We are losing 3, Toner, Tinker, and Fleming. I don't think anybody's going pro. Milburn will stick around. We'll have Charbonnet, so 2 juniors. Heron will be a sophomore with these 3 guys, so we'll have 4. One of those guys could leave. We'll kind of see how it goes maybe after their sophomore season as things shake out a little bit more. So we don't really need a receiver here. I do want to add a gadget guy, and we'll take a look at the guys I think will be a good fit there. Tight end wise, again, we have 3 guys in the sophomore class. One of them is probably going to go. I'm guessing it might be Babcock. He's further behind. And we'll lose Yeast as well. So I'd like to bring in 2 tight ends. I'd like to bring in a freshman. And then, Rossi Folk will be a junior. See if I can find a guy who's going to be a sophomore in the transfer portal, or maybe as a JUCO. Left tackle, we're going to be losing Costanzo. Would like to keep 3 deep at each of the offensive line positions, so we need 1 there. We'll lose Ali as well, but we'll be 3 deep here. Center, I think Brian Sweet's going to be done. I think Stork overtakes him pretty soon. I think Stork is actually supposed to be, is he 78? And maybe Sweet is supposed to be lower. Either way, I think Sweet will be out because Vallejo will start and Stork will be behind him. So I think we'll need a center. So that's 2 old linemen. Right guard, we're good. And then right tackle, we're going to be losing Lutris. So we'll maybe need another offensive lineman. Technically, maybe we won't need one because we could bump one of these right guards over. But I'd like to get one. Left edge, I think we're fine here. Right edge, we'll probably add another guy here. D tackle, I think we're good. Kukas Bavaro should develop well. Small. Laporta may end up transferring out, with Small and Kukas ahead of him. We'll maybe see. So D tackle could maybe be a need as well. Linebacker-wise, I'm not sure we need one. We got 2 Sams here. We could bump a Mike over. And then we got 3 Wills. So depending on who we find, not a big need. And then corner, I think we're going to be okay as well. I think actually Machado, again, we got 3 sophomores here. That first recruiting class, I kind of just took all the guys I could get without much of a plan. And so I think Cabral and Tut, outplay him right now. So maybe Machado looks for somewhere else to play. And so maybe we need another corner to jump in there. Free safety-wise, I feel good about having Sparks, Mandarino, Economos. One of these 2, Economos or Mandarino, may bump over to strong safety. But you can see we're set there as well. So maybe one of them bumps to corner as well. We'll kind of see how things shake out. But safety is not a need. And then kicker and punter, we're good. We got redshirt freshmen there. So all in all, that's about 9 needs that I think we actually absolutely need. And then if we look at how many seniors we're losing, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we're losing 9. We have 9 absolute needs, but we have some guys that are leaving as well. And so as I went through the roster, we have 9 seniors, and I think we have 7 guys. A lot of those redshirt sophomores, due to playing time, will be transferring out. So we have 16 openings, plus I think 2 spots that, we're at 83 instead of 85. And so we got room to bring in 18 guys. I don't know that we're going to try to sign 18 freshmen. Again, we may use a JUCO tight end, and I'd like to have some wiggle room for that transfer portal to see if anybody's a fit. So those are the needs. That's kind of how the roster is shaping up for next year. Let's go dive into recruiting. If you didn't know, I go through and I scout. I have a separate save file, and I can just kind of scout a bunch of guys. That's one of my favorite things to do. And so I just kind of go through the guys that are interested from pipelines and scout them all and kind of find the best ones at the 3, 2, and 1-star levels, and sometimes JUCOs. Although JUCOs aren't really fitting right now that we had the big recruiting classes the first 2 years. So first things first, last episode I showed you we had Ty Miranda interested from Katy, Texas. We got a level 5 pipeline here. I am going to add him. I think there could be a cool story here about getting a 5-star guy. So I'm going to add him just so we have that option to dive into that. I'm also going to add Derek Naylor. So he's a 5-star, but we come over here to the recruiting board. We'll scout him. Decent player, but a 5-star bust. So I think there could be a story around getting this guy as a 5-star bust. So we'll keep him on the board. And then we've got Enrique Huntley. We have to go to the recruiting board here. Also, if your screen ever freezes when you go from prospect list to recruiting board, like mine just did, you may have seen that star pop up. Just hit Y or triangle twice, and that will unfreeze it. You don't have to back out and come back in. So, Enrique Huntley. We're going to scout him. He's going to end up being a bust as well. I think there's a story, again, unheralded, 4-star bust. Could be a fit for the program as well. So we got a 5-star and a 4-star bust that could end up becoming a part of our team. So some really cool stories could come out of this recruiting class with the 5-star guy who has his first, the 5-star bust, and the 4-star bust. they're interested in us, right? So something happened with Derek Naylor. He knows the philosophy of Coach PJ O'Connell and his coaching staff and this program. He puts us third, behind Nebraska and Duke. Enrique Huntley, same thing, right? Something happened, dropped his stock. He put us second behind LSU, right? And I think if we click in to Huntley, we have a better pipeline tier than LSU in Houston. So it could be a cool recruiting battle story with LSU as well, which I just noticed. I didn't notice that the first time through. So 2 5-stars, one's a bust, 1 4-star, one's a bust. Still want to stay true to recruiting, unheralded guys. And I think for sure the bust fit. I think one of the top players in the country, having us first on his board, fits that as well, just because of the way we do things. So that's an exciting development I didn't see coming into season 4, but I'm happy to roll with it. Next, before we dive into 3-stars, I want to dive into our recruiting philosophy. So this year is going to be a little bit different. We're going to be going after kind of the best athletes we can find. And that means we're going after pure running quarterbacks. They may not be as fast as dual threat guys, but I think because they can get that workhorse, I think they can carry the ball more than a dual threat can. And my offensive philosophy is going more towards, get a really good athlete at quarterback who can run. And now you've got an extra threat that the defense has to account for. You get an extra blocker with the running back. I think it's a dangerous offensive philosophy. I know when I was coaching high school football, we hated playing the teams that had their best athlete at quarterback because we knew that at any moment he could run, and they did get that extra blocker on us, and we couldn't account for the quarterback necessarily. So we are going to be going after pure running QBs. You can see in this recruiting class, there is no 4-star. If you watched the last episode, you saw that as well. We're going to try to find a QB in this class. And Al has sent us over, 3 guys that he really likes. First one is Joe Teague. And then the next 2 are actually 2-star guys. We've got Cam Locker and Donald Gills. So right off the bat, I'm thinking Locker is probably my top choice just because we have that level 5 pipeline. Teague could be tougher to get with the big schools after him. And then Gills, again, just not a pipeline, but smaller schools. So he could be an option as well. So you can see Coach Al did a great job finding his gems. Looking at attributes, I think Joe Teague is the most intriguing with that 85 speed, 84 excel, 85 throw power. He was by far the best 3-star pure runner. There were some other guys that had, 84 speed around there, 84 throw power, but nothing quite like Joe has here. And then Cam with his 80 speed, 83 excel, 81 throw power. Donald looks the least impressive, 77 speed, 85 excel, 77 throw power. I'm not sure how he's a gem or what determines a gem for a pure runner at the 2-star level, but he is one, so he's on our board. Next, at tight end, again, trying to go with the best athletes. We are going with pure possession athlete, and we may throw a blocker on there as well, but we've got a few pure blockers on the roster already. So we are going with athlete pure possession, and Coach Al has found us 2. Of these 2, I think Antoine Sims looks the most intriguing. He is a gem. 82 speed, 78 acceleration, 77 catch in traffic. You can see for pure possession, their blocking doesn't come in that great, but they can train that really well. And then so Darren Muma, 84 speed, 80 acceleration, a little bit faster, 78 catch in traffic. Not sure how he's not a gem. I don't know what the game looks for. I mean, it looks like Darren has better numbers throughout, except for Muma has better numbers than Sims. So Sims being a gem, I'm guessing Muma will be at least impact. We'll have to wait and see. So we'll probably just get one of these guys. I'm leaning towards Sims. We'll have to see how the first week of recruiting goes and who goes after these guys. Because again, Muma, we have that pipeline, and Sims, we don't. But 2 really good options at tight end. And then again, I may add JUCO sophomore later on. I like to add those guys later just to kind of see what's there. I don't want to battle for a JUCO guy, and then if we have to, we can go to the transfer portal. All right, next up, O-line. So this may be controversial, but we are going after athlete centers for all offensive line positions. I think they come in with good strength, speed, agility, acceleration, and I just want that across the board. Sometimes they turn into a raw strength. Sometimes they'll stay agile. I have seen them switch to well-rounded, and we can maybe finagle that with development and things like that. But we need 3 O-linemen, and Coach Al has found us 3 good ones. So for the O-line, Coach Al was able to stay within our pipelines. He found Theo Radley, not a gem, but he's got good size, 6 feet 307. Probably going to stay at guard, but he's got 83 acceleration, pass block finesse, run block power. Lacombo looks a little bit better. And then Andre here looks really good. He is a gem. He's got 87 impact block. I'm guessing that's the indicator for a gem. His acceleration's at 79. He's 6'4", 308. Lacombo's coming in at 6'2", 292. So again, I want to get guys that can move. If they convert to raw strength, they still got the speed to pull, the agility to pull. They may not be able to get the physical abilities, but they have the actual attributes to do that. And at tackle, I think that helps as well with pass protection, having that ability to move well. So we've got 3 athlete centers here that I really like at the 3-star level. Our next need is at edge. So again, at edge, we're looking for the athletes, the guys who can be quick, can rush the passer. I think power rushers are probably the best. They do come in at the athlete position as well. So we're going to try to target power rushers and speed rushers if we can. And Coach Al has found us a great 2-star right edge. So Phil Pryor out of Santa Ana, California, comes in as a 2-star gem, 6'3", 214, power rusher tendency or archetype, has good speed at 77, strength at 79, acceleration 82. Really good numbers here. We're happy to have Phil Pryor on our board. Next, we got to look at cornerbacks. So cornerbacks, not a position you really need to identify the best athletes, I think. All of them are going to be pretty good. So we're looking for gems here, and Coach Al has found us 2 3-star gems for us to take a look at. So we've already got Enrique on the board, a 4-star bust. Not sure we're going to actually sign him and go after him, but to start with, I like that option. Then Coach Al has found us George Lacombo. Good measurables here, good attributes. He's bump and run out of Baton Rouge in our pipeline. He's a little shorter at 5'10", 181, but again, we're not looking for a certain height. We're just looking for athleticism, the grit, the football IQ, and the love of the game. And Al thinks George fits that bill. Next, we got Matt Keenan, zone tendency out of Jacksonville, Florida. We got 5'11", got 94 speed, 89 acceleration, and we only need 1 corner, so we got to decide which of these 2 we want to go after. But I'd like the option to have both of them, so we're going to target both of them and see which one becomes a better fit as recruiting goes. So those are our main needs, plus the 5-star guys and the 4-star guy, and that'll be the foundation of our board. Got to go ahead and offer these guys. There are some other key guys that Coach Al found that we're going to dive into here. We got a 1-star middle linebacker we're going to look at first. So Coach Al found us Robbie Kiernan. He's the thumper archetype from Cypress, Texas, right in the heart of our recruiting grounds. Maybe undersized at 5'11", 215, could add some weight. Maybe moves to safety if his speed can go up, but he's somebody we're excited to have on the board and see how he develops. And then next, I mentioned that I want to add some gadget guys on the board, see if we can get some gadget players in, and Coach Al has found us 2 that he says we need to take a look at. All right, so gadget-wise, we got 2 options here. Decided not to go after a 4-star guy. It may change later on if again, there is a 4-star gadget who is unheralded. Nobody's after him. But for now, we got Cedric Manley out of Lakeville, Minnesota. Got to recruit a Minnesota kid every year. It's just the right thing to do. But he's got 87 speed, 90 acceleration, 88 throw power. So again, somebody that could move and be a pure running quarterback, but also has the attributes to be a good receiver and maybe move to running back later on. That's what I really like about the gadgets. I think they're the best player in the game, and I hope they don't get rid of them for CFB 27. Then we also have Kenyon Royer. He is in our pipeline, so he's a little bit more intriguing. 88 speed, 91 excel. Throw power's at 84. Route running might be a little bit better than Manelli. That may be the same. It's probably a wash. So Manelli, again, this looks a little bit better, by 1 or 2 attributes in certain areas. But I'd be happy to get either of these guys. I'm guessing Kenyon Royer will be easier to get just because of the pipeline. But I'd really love to add another Minnesota kid onto the roster. So we're at 17 here with duplicates at a position, right? I don't think we're going to recruit 2 cornerbacks. I don't think we're going to recruit 2 tight ends, or 2 freshman tight ends. And I don't think we'll be bringing in 3 QBs, most likely just one of them. And then these 3 guys up here, we got to decide. D tackle, I did mention that might be a need, if Laporta ends up leaving. But Coach Al hasn't had a chance to scout any D tackles. So we're going to jump into that and see what we can find with 185 hours left. And I'm thinking because of the depth we have at D tackle, we're going to start with 2-star guys. That way I think he can kind of develop behind these older guys. He doesn't have to rush into playing. And I think what fits our defense best and is in the most athletic at that position, again, athletic is probably a relative term, right? But I really like the pure power and the gap specialist. You may say that they're the least athletic, but to be able to take on double teams and clog up the middle, that is some type of athleticism. And so that's who we're going to target. Over the years, we may throw in, a power rusher, a speed rusher, but for the most part, I want to have a pure power or a gap specialist in there for our defense. So the guys that are interested are speed rushers. We're not going to target them. We're going to go to pipeline next. We'll look at Rodney. We'll look at Tyler. We'll look at Matthew. I don't know how many guys I can get. I think maybe 6. It takes 30 hours each. 3 more. We'll after Cedric, Tito, and Rasheem. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I do my math right, 6 times 30 will be 180. So then I'm just going to scout through. I may just kind of time lapse this and speed it up. But this is part of the fun for me. Is getting these guys on the board, scouting through them, seeing which ones are a fit. And even if they're not gems, right? We have a few guys that are not gems, but their attributes check out. And so it's fun to kind of dive into that, see what a gem has, and see if a guy who's not a gem is close to it and will have a higher development trait. Because there are certain indicators for each position that will tell you if they're going to be a high dev trait. So I was 1 off. 2, 3, 4. Oh, I had 7 on. Okay, so looking through these guys, I'm looking for the high strength. 85, Tito kind of checks that as a gap specialist. 82, 83 is a pure power. I like the workhorse ability. Like that Sean has workhorse as well. He's got hit power 81, so that's the highest hit power. 81 strength. Gap specialists are definitely have better acceleration. Although pure power here. So Cedric looks maybe like the best one. All right, of these D tackles, I think I'm going to offer Tito and see where that can get us. And these other guys, I think I'll just take off. Coach Al will do some more scouting as well on the other save file, so he has more points and more to work with. But right now, I think I called him Tito. This is Tito. But right now, Tyler Barbosa is in the lead to be on the board. All right, I like how our recruiting board is looking. Again, we got these top 3 guys, some of the higher recruits. They'll be on our board. I'll offer them a scholarship, and we'll see how it plays out and if we have the points to go after them and get into recruiting battles and all that, because that's 150 points, I think, out of 600. And so we have to decide if that's worth it, if that's what we want to do. So again, with our actual needs, I think we've got room for 16 guys that are going to be leaving, and then 2 because we're at 83 instead of 85 for our roster number right now. But that is going to do it for this episode. Hopefully you enjoyed diving into our recruiting board. Leave a comment below and let me know who your favorite recruit is, or if I should be going after a different position, something else you might see on the roster. And let me know what you think about going after the 5 stars. Again, the left tackle that has us first, I think, could be a cool story. The 5-star bust, the 4-star bust could be good stories. We could do all 3 of them. We have the roster space. We got time to think about it, and we got time to adjust. So thanks for tuning in, and until the next one, keep gaming, keep growing, and keep celebrating those obscure victories. Game on.